Joe, some headlines over the weekend. The number one recruit in the country, the true freshman quarterback for the Michigan Wolverines, Bryce Underwood, who made a lot of headlines at the end of the recruitment, signing a massive deal with Michigan, is expected to be the starting quarterback at Michigan. When you see this headline, your overall thoughts?
Start the kid. Start Bryce Underwood. We texted about this, and I sent it to you, and I'm like, let's talk about this on Sunday. Kind of a little bit of an eye roll, like, yeah, okay, we got to get to this. You're paying him all this money. He's the number one recruit in the country. You didn't have anyone who could throw the damn football last year. Mikey Keene, I've watched too much damn Mikey Keene film for what I had to do when I was doing scouting work 2 years ago. He's not going to do anything for you that Bryce Underwood can't. Bryce Underwood makes you a much more explosive and exciting offense. Start Bryce Underwood. The whole indication is that he looks great at the current moment as things have been going. Davis Warren's still out with an injury. Mikey Keene apparently has not been practicing. None of that matters. Give him all the first team reps. Start the damn kid. We watched Dylan Raiola do great starting. We watched DJ Lagway do some great things starting. You're not going to win a national title with Bryce Underwood as a true freshman. Get him on the field now. Get him ready for later. Well, exactly.
You're not going to win without him either. All right.
Yeah.
Can I ask you just a humbling question? When you paid a kid a 4-year, $12 million deal, did you think he wasn't going to start?
Exactly.
With a $2.5 million base, did you really expect for him not to come in here and start? Like, that is I feel like sometimes, oh man, he's coming in here and start. Brother, $12 million got sent to school for one kid. For one kid. Now, I told you when the kid was committed to LSU, and I will tell you now, from a high school recruiting standpoint, there is no one that I've seen with my eyeballs at that year of age that is a better thrower than I've ever seen. Now, I saw Arch 3 times, okay, just to give it for context. I saw Arch Manning 3 times in no shape, form. And look, maturity, kids, everybody's different in high school. You're projecting in some of this. Nobody is more gifted than I've seen with my eyeballs than this kid. There's only been 2 quarterbacks that I've seen. But by the way, by the time they came in the team that I covered, they were older. They were more mature, developed. Nobody that I've ever seen with my eyeballs on field level was as gifted as this kid. Joe, I agree with you wholeheartedly on this. The kid's going to struggle. Now, I think his upside's bigger than Dylan Raiola. Quite frankly, I think it's bigger than DJ Lagway by a long shot because of everything that he does. However, let's get to the inevitable. He is a freshman. And quite frankly, there's only one position where you can say if a kid's that talented, you plug and play, and there's no real digression in reference to what you would get from an experienced player. Experience at quarterback in this league and at that conference and at that school matters. That is a fact. You defensively showed that you can carry some things. He will elevate you offensively. You showed offensively that outside of running the football, there wasn't much you could do. You couldn't throw the football to save your life. It beat you for probably halfway through the season until you figured some things out under a new head coach. This kid is gifted and will elevate you even in that. Am I expecting them to go to a playoff? Joe, no, I'm not. I'm not expecting that from him. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks as freshmen or rookies in the NFL that struggle. It's going to happen. But in reference to projection, in reference to a kid that I've seen personally, there's nobody better. Joe, I got to be real with you. Here was the conversation that I had when the kid was committed to LSU. Hey, man, I'm just going to throw this out there. Garrett and him were throwing side by side in a drill, and one kid was better than the other. One kid's going to be a senior. Okay? Right. All right. The question is, hey, man, how quickly does he dethrone this kid if they're going to have this? The conversation place that I'm trying to get to is that he's going, Garrett's going to have to play so bad for him to dethrone him. That's the situation that they would have been in. Shit. Not the conversation I was having. he is that. I think he can be that special. This is not a surprise to me. Now, again, can he lead Michigan to heights that they haven't been to in the last couple of years? No, he's not leading them to a title this year. I don't think they're good enough all around as a team. But, man, the kid can absolutely ball. And for that reason, I think that he elevates them as a team. And, Joe, they're going to imagine the team that we saw play against Alabama elevate offensively.
Right.
So now you go into a season with him and start asking the question, hey, he's going to make freshman mistakes. Brother, you got a 6-year walk-on that's making mistakes. I mean, so where do you see Michigan? I think it takes a whole different avenue of conversation here with him being the starter.
Right. This isn't a circumstance where there's a really massively better option. Mikey Keene is not going to show up and do something so much better, except maybe make maybe more concise, experienced decisions and make a little bit less mistakes. I think one of the biggest issues right now in college football that has plagued quarterback play is that we're not getting enough guys that are staying and playing for the same offensive coordinator at the same school for an extended period of time. You don't have a lot of opportunities for these guys to really grow in a system. If you want to, in the next 3 years, 2 years, by the time he's a junior, to get back to the national championship conversation like that they were just in, you need to let him go out there. You need to let him learn. You need to let him make mistakes. If your quarterbacks were so awful last year that you still managed to finish with the record that you did and beat Alabama, like you just talked about, Bryce Underwood's going to make a ton of great plays. He's going to have a couple of bad games and probably lose them a football game. But you put him out there, let him learn from the mistakes. You finish the year with 8 wins. That's a huge accomplishment. That's a huge step forward. That is all in the direction of getting you on the track that you're trying to get to. Even if they win 7 games, that's huge.
They got to show a little bit better improvement. But the point you're making, though, is that they're losing a lot defensively, too, which has to be correlated into this. Right.
Right.
He's going to lose them a game and he's going to win them a game by just overall being more talented than the dudes in front of him. Here's the biggest question mark for me, though. After all the bullshit aside in reference to money, him just being an outright baller, the real question is Joe, offensively, what does Michigan do that probably nobody else in the country does? Harbaugh talked about this, and Jerome Moore even talked about this with J.J. McCarthy. Remember when J.J. McCarthy went out there as a starter and he split reps with Cade McNamara? They split games, if you remember correctly.
And Jerome Moore was the OC at the time.
And Jerome Moore was the OC at the time. What did they say that both of them had struggles with? The verbiage of the offense. J.J. McCarthy was the top, 15 pick, whatever he was. Okay? My point in saying is it's going to also be, hey, look, do you get the right formation in? I mean, the coach is in the headset, so it makes it a little bit easier. You're there during the spring, so it happens. My ultimate question would be for that offense, how quickly can he pick it up? Athleticism-wise, he's going to be a lot better than what you were, and he gives them a bigger threat. Here's the question, too, Joe, that I'll throw this out your way. From a kid that can run and really, really, really – I'll just say it. Outside, I don't think he's as fast as Jaden. He reminds me a lot of him. Body size, height, body type. The thing that reminded me of them the most, their arm action. The way that they slingshot the football, okay? That's what reminded me of them. Athleticism, not there. But from a Michigan offense standpoint, okay, you run the football 75% of the time anyway. Now what happens when you can bootleg, have success off that bootleg, or you can zone read it. I think they just become overall so much more dangerous from top to bottom that I am so intrigued by them overall because of him.
Well, they quite literally, and we have a question in regards to this from Dick Buck, is Michigan built for a Bryce Underwood style offense? Do they have the weapons?
No.
Well, not at the current moment, but what they did last year that was really a hodgepodge clusterfuck was they had Davis Warren, who was the pocket passer who couldn't run and couldn't threaten with his legs and wasn't a good athlete. And they had Alex Orji, who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
He couldn't hit the climax. Say the pun.
I am not going to. But was a big, really strong runner. Bryce Underwood has the capability to be the combination of both of those things, to be a good passer that you give him more reps and opportunities to see the field to learn to be a great passer. But he's not going to be like Jaden Daniels because he's already like bigger and stronger than Jaden Daniels. He's the closest thing that we have to Cam Newton coming out of high school.
Their body styles are just so different. Like Cam was just so massive of a human being. I get what you're saying. He doesn't run like that though. Right? Like he
can be physical because he's got more weight on him. He's not Jaden Daniels needed to run past people. And he was going to run past people.
I meant from a passing standpoint. Let me make that very, very well clear on the running aspect. They slingshot it, which makes him that much dangerous because you think he can't make the throw, and all of a sudden a Hail Mary goes up in the NFL and he threw it for 65 yards in the air and it's a touchdown. That's the thing that I was talking about. He is more polished in the passer than I ever thought a kid like that athletically would be this young. I think Dick Buck brings up an interesting question about them offensively. They don't have the weapons now. Like he's going to have to create. They're going to have to give him 3 options: run, get down, don't get hurt. Like a lot of that's going to have to be played here, but they're still going to stay to their offense. Like they're still going to run the ball. They're still going to go under center and run the football. They're still going to go off power I or offset power I. Offset power I. Offset I. They're going to ram the ball over and over and over again. The question just becomes what you can do behind that is so innovative with him. I mean, you won a damn near national title by just doing what you do.
Right. Yeah, I think that you now have the ability to get back to what you were doing with JJ McCarthy and to get him on the field earlier and to get him more exposure and then start to build chemistry and momentum. That's the goal. Play.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree there. And listen, but see, here's the problem. Like every time you say stuff like that, and then my mind strictly goes to shit though. I mean, he just makes him so much more competitive, which interesting times to be a Michigan Wolverine.